Well, fucking fuck. And this is the second time now that I've explained this. Okay. Can I show you something? This board, okay? These screws down here, they go in at an angle. It's called a toe screw. It's not typical for a screw. Screws are supposed to go in flat. Screws are different from nails. They have two different functions. A screw would hold this board to this board, whereas if we put a nail in it, it would suck them in like that. Whereas if we put a nail into it, it would keep the board from going like this. So you can't snap a nail going this way. You can't pull a screw out going this way. Okay, that's kind of a beside the point sort of thing, an adjacent. What we're talking about here is these toe screws. Now, this board is straight up and down, how it's designed. This board is designed to go flat against this part. There's a gap there. Now, the reason there's a gap there is because these are toe screwed. Now, you might think that you're gaining extra strength by going in at an angle to hit the bigger board on the bottom, which is a cut out of this with this little thing set on top of it. You might think that you're gaining extra strength, but the truth is that you're actually not. You're losing twice. One is this screw is not functioning properly. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's at an angle, so it's not holding this board against this board, and that is that evidence. This board wants to be straight up and down. It can't do that. So you have two different algorithms, two different equations in reality facing you right now. You have one equation where this board is straight up and down. You have a second equation where this screw is at an angle, and so it cannot complete this. The whole time that this board wants to go into this, it has to be being pulled down. It can't do that because it's straight up and down and attached at the top. That's not the board's function. If it was to go in at an angle, you would be doing that differently. Instead, we have two different equations, two different means that tell two different things at the end, neither of which end up happening. You have the equation of the board that wants to sit straight up and down as itself and go into this, and you have the equation of the toe-screwed screw, which goes in at an angle and holds it out. Now the problem is this space. This space means that the whole function is faulty. Now we have twice as much means as we actually need to complete this function. Neither one are being completed and they're canceling each other out, is the issue. So there are literally two different realities going on right here. You might think you're getting twice as much strength by taking the screw, using it wrong, going in at an angle, and having it not do what it's supposed to do. Unfortunately, the whole function is about half as strong as what it's designed to be because of this extra space here. So this whole strength of this being pitted against this and it starting to know itself as that, becomes super symmetrical as that, as the whole framing was designed, isn't happening because you have two different equations. Neither ends of either means being reached because they are in conflict. They are not in conjunction. They are not coherent. They are not consecutive. There's no way for this equation to pick up this equation. There's no intersection. There's no, I'm going to go to this point and then go straight. Maybe that would work. That would take a lot of time. Don't know why we would do that rather than just going straight. You have two different equations here. And so now, because you have two different equations just in this spot, this board was designed fine. All the guys lugged it upstairs fine. They measured it out fine. They did all these cuts. They did this. They did this. Everything else is fine. But it's half as strong as it needs to be because of these ridiculous toe screws that want to add means to an end that we had already designed. So for this little flare, you've now fucked up the entire rail. And now we have this problem of this half power destroying the entire integrity of the whole thing. Because there's two different means and no ends. Which you think, on eyeballing, wow, those are toe screwed at an angle like that. This fucker must be strong. Wrong. So you're telling this board to exist essentially, whenever we back all the way out, you're telling this board to exist in two different places. It can't because it's already a board. This shit is already here. I can't unimagine it, make it a different board, and look it into a new spot, it having already been put here. This is past the imagination stage. This is physical reality. I can't do anything about this in my head other than solve it on a piece of paper. And then putting it somewhere else is a totally different action. So if 20% of the work is this much work, imagine how much of a pain in the ass it would be to go back through and pull out all these little screws and put them in straight. You sacrifice your soul because you're dealing with shit like this. That's all.